This is YGTV and YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank and sponsored by Circle Electric and Health Payment Systems. I'm your host, David Bellman, president of Bellman Homes. Today, my team and I are collaborating to help Sara Nowacki of Platinum Travel. Let's meet the panel.
Hi, I'm Ariel Kopak with Harness Your Hindrance. I help business owners and sales professionals take control of the hindrances of their business by identifying their mental and emotional roadblocks.
Hi, I'm Lori Hybe, president and owner of Keystone Click. We're a strategic digital marketing agency helping our clients build brand awareness, generate leads, and nurture those opportunities online.
Hi, I'm Mervyn Bird. I am a Vistage chair. I run a CEO peer advisory group here in the greater Milwaukee area.
Welcome to YG Workshop presented by First Federal Bank. Today we are joined by Sara Nowacki of Platinum Travel. Welcome, Sara, to YG Workshop.
Well, thank you.
We're so glad to have you here today. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got interested in the travel industry?
Well, I have always loved to travel. I believe in the power of travel. My specialty is customizing amazing adventures for people who want to see the world and for families who have a member on the autism spectrum. And what that means is I start out, I get to know you, get to know what you want to do when you travel, what your style is of travel, and I make sure that I accommodate that for you. So if you like to take risks, you like adventure, I find that for you. If you like to hang out at the beach, I make sure I find the best beaches for you. If you want to see Europe and all the historical monuments, I'll find those for you as well. So I really make it personal and find out what, and make it personal and do what you want for you. Sorry.
No, that's fine. And I know one thing you had mentioned when we talked was that, you're there for your customers throughout the process of the travel as well, right? Could you explain a little bit more about that?
Exactly. I will monitor your flights, make sure you get where you're supposed to be going. During your travels, I'm a phone call or a text or an email away at all times. It's not uncommon for me to be up at 3 a.m. if you're traveling in Europe with the time differences, so that I know you're on your flight. I've been known, if you're stuck in the airport in Milwaukee, bring you food or something if you need it, or if you've forgotten something, I'll do that for you as well. I'm really with you every step of the way.
Oh, that's fantastic. So obviously, the industry you're in, with everything that's going on with COVID, there's been a lot of challenges, and it's, I'm sure, been a rather difficult year for you. So what is your thing that you would like the most help with right now?
Well, I guess it's kind of twofold, really. One is helping people realize that, it is safe to travel. Destinations right now, Mexico and the Caribbean are open right now. And with precautions in place, I can make that happen. I just recently did travel to Mexico last month. We arranged private transfers. The resorts down there are at 50%, so there's lots of room for social distancing. They are taking precautions as well, sanitizing rooms. You can spread out at the pools with that 50%. You don't have to get up early to get your pool chair. That's one advantage.
Nice. The
restaurants are emptier, so you've got a lot of those advantages as well. Also, one of the things is that I keep up to date on all the different changes right now. Changes are happening daily, if not hourly.
And you're referring to like regulatory changes with COVID and best practices and those types of things?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The CDC is coming out with new regulations. As we know, last year, in March when things shut down, we were given 2 days notice to get everybody home. And I literally was spent, 24 hours practically on the phone making sure that my clients got home safely. and quickly. Whereas, you saw those long lines in the airports and that, I got everybody home safely, and they were grateful. And then it came to rescheduling people that were scheduled to travel.
Right?
Exactly. Yep. And in fact, right now I am on my third rescheduling with a client. And it's, they call me or email me and say, okay, obviously we need to reschedule. But that's okay, that's my job. It's so they can then focus on their family or what they need to do.
Okay. So your main two questions are kind of how do you promote that it's safe to travel, right? And then also maybe how do you message or let people know some of the changes in their guidelines and different things like that, and how to navigate that.
Right, and the advantages, I guess, of using a travel agent.
Advantages, okay, fantastic. So I think those are great questions, and I think we definitely want to help you with this. So in order to really kind of dive in deeper for you, our panelists have some questions for you, I'm sure, on how you operate and what makes you guys a little different, so that we can definitely help you navigate through this, because I'm sure a lot of people have the want to travel and have been putting it off. And I think one thing that's going to happen is down the road things are going to get very busy for you when things open up, and so getting you ready for that. So that
yes, I know people are itching to get out.
Absolutely. So who has a question for Sarah? Who'd like to start?
I'm happy to start.
Okay, go ahead, Lauren.
Mine's a two-part question. One is, how are you currently promoting that? What are you doing to get the word out that it is safe to travel? And two, what are the types of questions that people are asking you about travel right now?
One of the things that I have been promoting, I guess, or letting people know is that what I can do to help with that. Air is safe to travel right now. The studies show that it is safer to travel by air than to be in a hospital right now. Mm-hmm. We can do that so that we can arrange private transfers to limit your contact with people at airports.
So how are you communicating this?
Mainly through newsletters with my clients, Facebook messages, Instagram, that sort of thing, social media.
Good question.
So how are your clients responding to this right now?
It's mostly been, I will admit, pretty quiet, because diehard travelers are ready to go. A lot of them are still waiting for the vaccines. They're still a little leery. I have some that are traveling that are they're ready to go. We have some that are traveling soon. But some of them are still a little, as I said, a little leery. They're a little hesitant yet.
So how vast is your client base there? I mean, you don't have to give me a specific number, but how vast?
Mid-hundreds.
You mentioned the advantages of having a travel agent, and I think for a lot of people, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Exactly.
And so those who have not engaged with you, you're further out from your clients, you're people who see you, maybe see your post, but are hesitant to engage because they're not sure what the advantage of having a travel agent is. What would you tell them about the advantages of using a travel agent rather than do it yourself?
There are a couple of things. First of all, it's sometimes even less expensive, or just, the price difference. There is not a price difference usually. I don't charge fees for the most part. There are a few times that I will charge fees, but for the most part I do not. And then the advantage is I am literally a phone call away. You can get a hold of me just about any time. Whereas if you're booking online on your own, it's been pretty rough for those places to get a hold of, and I won't mention names, but get a hold of those places. Or if you're booking at a big box travel agency, same thing, especially during these times right now. So that's a huge advantage. I also have a resource of thousands and thousands of different travel agents. So if I don't know that answer right away, I can find that out very quickly. Okay. So
question for you, Sarah. Have you ever done like videos or blogs or podcasts or anything? Have you ever jumped into that?
A little bit, and one of the things that I will be doing is some more videos. In fact, I'm scheduled to do some at the end of the month. Okay. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be working on.
Sure. Yeah, because I think that's one of the challenges, right? Is a lot of people are just unsure And so having someone that's been through it and, sharing those recent examples that you just traveled and it was safe and it was great. And, I think people need to see that. And that could be something that you could do, I think, to, help make people feel more comfortable and then, become the trusted source. Other questions for Sara?
I do. I have kind of a commercial for Sara as well as a kind of a well-done question. So Sara, we used Sara to our church did a marriage cruise. What was it? 2 or 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
And you're still married, obviously?
Still married.
I wasn't in charge of that part.
Yeah. We took 17 or 18 couples with us, and Sara and her husband also came along, and that was very good for us to have her here on. So that full service, are you still doing that?
Yes,
full service type of? I mean, she was our concierge. I mean, she was literally there for everything.
And I have actually upped it up a few notches since I have been on my own.
Tell us about that.
So when I worked with his group, I literally, I was there answering every question, and the
so
group.
You're saying you had your hands full with him?
I hope I wasn't the problem child. My wife really is the one who kind of.
No, not with Mervyn or his wife. No, I did not. But no, there were I had questions literally on a daily basis, which was great because then they got their questions answered. And I would rather have that than, misinformation or, and people not knowing. So, but it was a great experience for everyone. And they had a great time. And I was there with them literally and to answer the questions. We got them through the airport. We got them through, we spent an extra night, before the cruise, dinner recommendations. We did just about everything, tours. And I was there for them at any moment if they had questions.
Oh, that's a great way to differentiate.
And even if I am not physically there with them, I am there with them. In fact, I had last February, I had somebody down in Disney World, and it was a family with a member on the autism spectrum, and she texted me and she said, "We're going to make it up for the fireworks. We can't do the crowd. Where's the place that we can see the fireworks and it's not crowded in the park?" And I'm like, okay, here are my 2 favorite spots you can go to. And she texted back and she's like, perfect. This is where we went, and it was perfect.
We're just getting started. Let's take a quick break and come back for more with Sara. This episode of YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank, is brought to you by Health Payment Systems and Circle Electric.
Welcome to First Federal Bank of Wisconsin. Here at the bank, we pride ourselves on providing the community bank difference. To us, it's more than a tagline, it's how we serve our customers and support our communities. When you work with us, you can expect quick local decision making, a great customer experience, and a significant community commitment. As experts in the products and services we provide, we are here to help you achieve your financial goals. Proudly serving the Milwaukee metropolitan area since 1922, we look forward to serving you and showing you what the community bank difference is all about.
Circle Electric is a 35-year commercial, industrial, and healthcare electrical contractor with engineers and designers on staff, backed by the most technical and well-trained master and journeyman electricians. Whether it's an equipment move, new building, or commercial remodel, from pre-construction all the way through startup, primary power, branch power, or low voltage systems, they are here to support you. Our 24/7 on-call service department is here to meet your electrical needs for our industrial and healthcare customers. You always hear safety first. They are safety always. Circle Electric will maintain electrical reliability for business continuity.
For more than 80% of families, today's medical billing practices are confusing. At HPS, our goal is to improve the healthcare experience for the patient by making medical bill payments less stressful. In Wisconsin, that's all made possible by our comprehensive independent healthcare provider network. We simplify billing and lower costs for everyone involved in healthcare and offer various ways for individuals to pay without breaking the bank.
So why don't you, before we jump into another question, why don't you just share a little bit more about how you've kind of fallen into helping people on the autism spectrum, because I think that's a huge differentiator that you have that maybe a lot of people don't have in the industry.
Well, I have 2 sons who have some special abilities. And my youngest son, who right now is 19, is currently 19, we've been traveling with him since he's 4. And he has some special abilities that are very similar to autism. And as I said, we took our first trip with him to Disney World when he was 4. And I sat there alone on the computer, and this was 15 years ago, planning out all of those accommodations for him. Can we do this? What can we do? And it was a great success. And we have been traveling with him for once, twice, maybe 3 times, if I could squeeze it out, ever since. Right now, he is a successful college student in Chicago, and I really believe that the power of travel helped him immensely. And I believe so much in the power of travel that I wanted to be able to share that with other families.
Yes, that's a great, it's a very powerful message, and it's a great differentiator that you can use, I think, in your marketing approach as well.
And I understand how much anxiety it is as a mom, and I say that as a mom because the moms plan out 90% of the travel for families, and it's overwhelming. And I remember that, and I want to take that anxiety away for families, and I want them to have that relaxation. I want them to have that break, whether it's going to Disney World, to an all-inclusive resort, maybe a cruise. I want them to be able to just sit back, relax, and enjoy that time as a family.
You were in the process of telling how you've upped your game with that. Could you dive a little deeper?
Well, one of the things is I've added the autism with that. I now do reservations for families if they need that. I literally am available to them 24/7 when they are traveling, even if I am not with them. Like with you, when I was with you 24/7. So, I have increased the number of trips that I take on my own to educate myself so that I can make myself better aware and more informative to people traveling, and help make those decisions better on where they should travel to. I had, and I'll say this, like a family that wanted to travel with a family that had a child with autism, who came to me and said, well, my son doesn't like loud noises or crowds, but we want to go to New York.
That's challenging right there.
So we talked about the challenges with that, and we found a different destination that worked way better for them. So, it's about educating them, and, I've really worked on taking that time to get to know those families. That's, and I can say that I have a lot of families, a lot of clients right now that they literally can say to me, I want to go to London. And I can say to them, okay, I know exactly what you're going to want to do there. Mm-hmm. And I can put together an itinerary for them. And it's pretty perfect for them right now.
That's great. That's a great skill to have. And I think that's something that'll be great for you to communicate as well and share that, because I think, people sometimes feel like I can go online and I can look this all up and I can do it myself, but they don't always know what's best for themselves, right?
Exactly. Or I just worked with a client, a family, and she said to me, oh, I found this great deal. And I said, okay. And I talked to her about it, and I said, so can you just tell me what you found? And she said to me, yeah, her husband and one of her daughters were claustrophobic. And I said, oh, well, I said, do you mind if I just kind of look a little bit too? And she said, okay, yeah, I booked it. So, it's refundable. So and I found her, it's for 3 kids. So, and they were going to be cramped in this room. I said, you know what? I can get you a 2-bedroom residence, 1,100 square feet. So you have plenty of room to spread out. I said, I have stayed at this resort. It's going to give you way more amenities, way more freedom, even just the space. And it was, a couple $100 more. And she said, okay, we'll book with you then. So that right there, and she had never heard of the place that I had found for them.
Okay, that's a great way to promote, your yourself and in your business. Do you have other questions? I know, Ariel, you.
What you're saying, what's resonating with me is taking the stress out of travel, because no matter how much someone's traveled, very little or a lot, there's some stress involved, in having you as a resource take that stress out, I think is incredible. I'm curious, with the state that we're in right now, with differing feelings of caution with COVID and the fear around travel. You mentioned that you've shared a bit with your clients about how it's safe to travel right now, what they could be doing, putting that out there, and I think that's fantastic. I'm curious about how you are receiving information about where your clients and your prospects are in when they're thinking about travel. Who's thinking about traveling in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year? How are you getting that information from them?
It depends. I have not been pressuring anything from them, kind of following what their lead is. If they say to me, oh, we're not, I have some that have said, we're not looking until 2022. And I'm like, great. I'm going to just kind of keep sending things out. Don't feel pressured, but let's just start dreaming a little bit. That's kind of where I've been. Let's start looking, because people are starting to book for 2022. So, let's get that dream looking, get you something to look forward to. That's kind of where I have been. There's some great places, and let's give you something to look forward to.
Any other questions for Sara?
Yeah, Sara, what are you doing from a networking standpoint to get the word out on Platinum Travel and Sara Nowacki? What are you doing?
A couple different things. I am a member of the Brookfield Chamber. I am a member of the Idea Collective, and then a member of some smaller networking groups. But those are my two big ones that I would say. All right, so great. Yeah. How active and participatory are you? Did I say that word right? I don't think I said it right, but how active are you there with being, so you can be front of mind, top of mind? I am pretty active, yes. I would say I'm very active in those two groups.
I've actually joined for a happy hour that Sara hosted, and she really did bring me on a dream journey about travel and showed pictures of different places and got you thinking about the food as well as the drinks and the views, and it certainly got my travel bug going, I can say that.
Okay, so I think we got some good ideas of what you're doing and kind of what's going on. So I just want to jump back to the question real quick, and then we'll give you some additional advice here. So you really want to be able to communicate with people that it is safe to travel, and there are some great options that are out there. And you also want to be able to inform people of some of the changes and things that are going on, and maybe lower that fear level down a little bit, so maybe more people are ready to jump in and make that trip, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So what do you guys think? What's some advice that you guys have for Sara to help her do that?
Yeah, I'm very excited for you, because I think that you've got some amazing stories. I love your statement about believing in the power of travel. And since you're moving down this path of video, I think what you should do is let your clients, who seem very loyal to you, be the one telling their story under this umbrella of power of travel, and start a video series or something and start getting them to be an advocate even more for your brand and the experience that you allowed them to have. Not only big picture, but in relation to the hesitations that they may have around travel right now. And it sounds like you've had some amazing experiences yourself, and I'm sure with some of your clients too.
Okay, sounds good.
How about you, Mervyn?
Sure. Ladies first. Go ahead, Ariel.
Save the best for last. Yeah. My thought is, as far as engaging with your clients, and even those who are not your clients yet, I think being front of mind and sharing the stories, the power of travel, is very powerful. But that first step is always the most intimidating, right? As soon as you have that conversation, as soon as someone's on the phone with you or in that messaging conversation, that you've already broken past the big barrier. That big barrier is, I don't want to be pressured to make a decision right now, or I don't know how I feel, or I might change how I feel about travel in the next month, right? And letting people know that it's okay to have that conversation is really powerful. A lot of people fear the sale, right? But you are truly there for your clients. I know that you care, And so letting them know that you're open for questions. You're open to be a platform for answering questions. Using social media to answer questions is a great way, but letting people know that you're a resource first and foremost, and that you care about their potential to travel, even if they're not ready right now. So getting them engaged, maybe even doing a poll of, and this is where you don't have to be pressured or in any way trying to imply that they should travel right now, but just where are you at? Are you looking to travel in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year? Let me get a poll, and then you have that information. You can even share with others what people are thinking, but it's also a way to kind of invite them in and let them know that wherever they are, it's okay, but when they're ready, you're there for them.
That's a great idea too.
Mervin, what advice do you have for Sara?
So Sara, I know that the short term is tough with travel restrictions due to COVID-19. So I get it. So for the short term, take care of those who are in the ready state. Find those who are ready to travel right now and take advantage of that. But play the long game. That's where your advantage is going to shine. You have that full service concierge that you are. Play that long game and start building for 22, 23. All of these folks who are thinking about traveling, and you're building that dream, and so build towards the future there. And when this thing lifts, and you have those who are in a ready state now, and those who are ready to travel a year down the line, 2 years down the line, you are going to be so busy. So I would say just begin to build a database, build it up, and build your base of clients for the near future.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think to tack onto that, I like that idea, and I love your idea of the power of travel. I think that's a really cool message. I think what would help for you too is just to take some time and make a plan for marketing, because I think there's so much value and information that you can share. And I think I sense that you're a little afraid just to put yourself out there and do that, but I think there's a hunger out there for people to get that information. So, maybe look at, hey, even if it's just small, like start with, hey, once a week, I'm gonna do a weekly update. And maybe it's just a 2-minute video. Hey, CDC guidelines changed on this, blah, blah, blah. And just get in the habit of doing that. And I think people will tune into that, and that's gonna, one, make them feel more comfortable, and it's gonna elevate you to the top of the ladder saying, Sara's the guy I gotta talk to here when I'm ready to travel. So you'll reduce the fear, but you also kind of put yourself up there. And then, I think also, think a little bit about, can you do, commit to doing a monthly video or a blog or something, and just talk about, places that are good to travel and why they might be good places to travel, and just get that information out there. You're not pushing anything. You're delivering information, which I think people will eat up, and that'll actually excite people about traveling again.
Yeah, definitely. Share your past experiences. It sounds like that's one of the pros that you bring, is that you've actually done the experience that you're selling for someone. So share those and get other people excited about taking that trip out there. The other thing, I really liked what Ariel said about sharing the information, the hesitations that people have. I think a great way, when you have these conversations with people and they're asking you questions, don't just answer that question for that one person, but then share that with your community, with your network, in your newsletter, on social media. Say, this is a question I answered today, and then here is the answer to that question. It's going to provoke more questions, but it's also going to show your expertise.
I think it's important when you're in a sales role to remember that in sales, you're not pushing, you're inviting. Now, when you're pushing, right? And that's your desire to avoid that means that you don't have to worry about it. I'm not worried about you being pushy in sales. You have that mindset of, I want to do what's best for them. I want to give them this opportunity. So remember that every time that you're doing this, posting on social media, writing the newsletter, putting the poll out there, those different ways of engaging people is inviting them in. And if you don't invite them in, they won't join.
Okay.
Any other ways you have, Mervin? No? I've got one other thing I was just thinking of, and this would be something just simple that you could do, but you'd kind of mentioned that, a lot of times people are just not sure if they should hire a travel agent, and they just want to go off and do it on their own. So do you have any kind of like a document or anything? It could be a little infographic, like common myths about travel agents, and you could take some of those things that you said earlier and put those into there. Like, I actually got them better accommodations for a similar price, or, they'll help you. I'll help you get into the right trip instead of the wrong trip, or just things like that. I think that would be a really helpful thing that you could produce quickly.
I do, and every so often, and when I have done things like that for a client, I make sure I post it, let people know this is what I've done. Like I get them, I get clients to Italy for an extra day for less money or something like that.
Sure. Yeah. Create a document that shows some of the value that you can add, because it's. People don't travel all that often a lot of times or take those big trips. So when you do, it's important. It's like you don't get much of that time away. So make sure that you're taking advantage of it. Share that. Any last advice for Sarah? No?
Excited for you. And I think alongside the power of travel, keep in mind that what the value that you provide is also in removing the stress from travel. Because who wants to think about the fun and excitement of travel and then think about all the worry and the stress? You take that away and it's all enjoyment. Why would you not, right, at that point?
Okay, so we threw a lot of things at you, Sarah. What do you think is your biggest takeaway from this so far?
Oh, there were so many good things. It's tough to narrow it down. I would have to say, it's like picking favorites, like picking my favorite child. You're all looking at me like, okay, do I get to win the prize?
There's stakes on this.
Do you have bets on this later? No. I would have to say is, promoting, like what you had said, promoting your value and, what a travel agent does. And you kind of all said some of the same things, so overlapped a little bit. So, and when Mervyn said, playing that short game, but that long game as well. So I kind of combine a lot of that stuff all together. So.
Well, again, Sarah, thank you for coming on. I know you've had, a challenging circumstance in the past year with travel, but, keep your head up, keep working, keep, getting that information out there, because when it opens, it's going to open big time, and be ready for it, because you're going to be busier than anyone in this room at some point, as everybody has an itch to do it. That hasn't went away. You're going to have pent up demand. It's like a rubber band.
I hope so. I'm sure, yes.
It's also going to snap, and it's going to be crazy busy for you, and it's going to be fantastic. So thank you again for coming on YG Workshop.
Well, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed this a lot.
Thanks to Sarah for sitting down on YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank and sponsored by Circle Electric and Health Payment Systems. YG Workshop is a collaborative environment designed to help businesses see their blind spots, consider new perspectives, and grow towards their goals. Do you know an entrepreneur that would like to come on the show? Have them visit younggunsmovement.com and apply. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our podcast so you don't miss a single episode of YG TV. I'm your host, David Bellman, president of Bellman Homes. Thanks to our panel, Lori, Ariel, Mervyn, and our entrepreneur, Sara Nowacki. See you next time.